Y boom, boom, ahí estamos grabando FENcast, grabando hoy con un artista que había descubierto o que sabía de su persona antes, por lo menos cuando lo vine a ver otra vez aquí visually, como que caché, oh, I know this person from somewhere else. Pero
Mm.
cuando redescubrí su trabajo, pues it was through the photography a la cual le está metiendo mano ahora. Tenemos a Andrés Nieves, que, como dije, fotógrafo. Pero como me recordó casi ahora, era parte de qué banda, way back in the day.
The Blue Leaves.
Awesome, 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 awesome. Pues, dude, antes de irnos como que más a fondo, your social media, all that good stuff, para que la gente sepa.
Eh, Everything hasta ahora is at low light ether. Y
Perfect,
ya.
perfect.
Mm.
Pues, dude, since I was reminded, como me dijiste, que you
Mm.
were part of um, Blue Leaves, I gotta ask them, ¿vino primero la pasión por la fotografía o la pasión por la música, or was there something else before all this?
I mean, I've kind of done a little bit of everything.
Mm,
Yo empecé like kind of somewhat okay at drawing. Después, when I was like in middle school, I went a la Escuela de Bellas Artes en Ponce,
mm,
and I did like acting for some time, pero después de eso, now I just kind of jumped around between different destrezas. I would say between photography and music, it was music primero. I'd taken pictures and whatnot, but I wasn't like super into it.
mm,
The whole photography stuff, realmente, the reason why it happened fue por la música, fue
mm,
porque the band, like the one I had in college, que era the Blue Leaves,
mm,
um, about a year in, like we kind of realized que we couldn't really rely on the pictures that we were getting from our shows. Que it was mostly just like the fans or our friends que nos tomaban la foto, our girlfriends or whatever.
mm,
Um, but they would send us like these pictures, but they were like smartphone pictures, and at the time, like they weren't as good as they are now. Um, so a nosotros nos llegaban un montón de fotos, pero they were either borroso, unusable, like too grainy, and like hay un elemento de como que oh it's authentic, it's cool, it's
yeah.
like it's in the moment, pero a la misma vez, it just kind of was hard to use them and be like yeah this is on our page, todas estas fotos bien borrosas de nosotros. And we had a lot of fun with that at first. Like we would literally después de the band rehearsals, like we would just take a phone, put it on a tripod, and try to do stuff. But como dije, we kind of realized like, okay, we need something to like step this up a little bit to get something more reliably usable. Um, so yo me compré una cámara. It was just like a generic, uh, ¿cómo que se dice? Like well-rounded. Like
Mm,
podía hacer un video, but not like super great. Podía hacer fotos, but not como que al nivel de like professional kind of stuff.
mm,
So I got that, and that was like at the beginning of 2020. So we did like 3 shows, and everything got shut down.
mm,
Y eso fue like this the whole quarantine thing. I feel que it was a make it or break it moment for a lot of people. Siento que it was like, most people have the excuse that we don't have a lot of time to pursue the passions that we have and whatever, um or to like develop ourselves, or como que work on our mental state y todas esas cosas. And for a lot of people during the pandemic, it still wasn't enough. Como que a lot of people start to work and stuff, but
mm,
um, for a lot of the people that free time, it was a great time to reinvent yourself, como que pick up a skill. Y for the first few months, that is not what I did at all. Yo, I just como que was wasting away in my room, literally 24/7. And then like my dad llegó, he one day, he's like, this is all really fucked up. Like you got to do something. Como
mm,
que go around, no sé, clean up. And I just kind of started looking into my camera a little more. It started because I have a friend en una banda de metal que se llama Roadkill. They're really cool. I love como que going to their shows. They have like this really good energy. So he was like my roommate in college, and he asked me, "Mira, I know you have a camera, and like we're just like gonna do a debut with social media and whatever. Do you want to just come look and take pictures of us, whatever? And for your band, I'll record you guys, and no say we'll like mutually help each other out."
Mm.
So uh, I did not know anything at all. Literally, the first couple of months that I shot with that camera were all on the auto setting.
Mm.
Ajá. Es que fue, I didn't know anything, nada de nada, not even framing. But I kind of got used to it a little.
Mm.
So I took a bunch of pictures. They were, but everyone starts somewhere,
Mhm.
But they loved it, and I was like, oh, okay, well that's great. And at the same time, I was also switching my major. I was currently studying classical music in San
Mm.
Germán, and I decided to make the drastic, unprecedented switch to architecture.
Mm.
Uh, Dear God, yo estaba como que, okay, if I'm gonna go study that, I'm gonna move pretty far away. The band's probably not gonna last a super long time in that scenario. Um, y what I could do if I'm like starting over, I could make some connections with like other musicians by doing photography for them. That was kind of the idea, or
Mm.
shooting video for their gigs. Um, so all the free time in the world, I started looking up like the right kind of equipment, and I started thinking, video. All right, I got myself a gimbal. Barely touched that thing ever since. And it was really expensive, and like I don't know why I bought it. Porque I do not use it, pero lo tengo. I used it like once or twice.
Mm.
But then started getting into lenses. I took this like video class. It was like 300 something lessons. Uh, Started como que honing the craft to like learning, all right, these are the basics, the fundamentals. This is the kind of equipment you want to get if you want to do this very specific thing, which like as a guy who kind of dabbles in the different like artistic stuff, just as outlets, photography is stupidly expensive. It
Mm.
is if you're doing like modern equipment, like digital work, it is incredibly expensive. The glass alone, a veces, is way more expensive than the camera itself,
Mhm.
which is, from a person who already like collected a couple guitars over the years, I thought it was ridiculous. Pero es que sí, like I have a filter that I is my pride and joy, porque it has the right effect, everything that I love about it. It's $125 for a piece of like glass
Yeah.
that it's not even a lens. And if I get a camera lens that's bigger than the filter thread of the filter, like it's unusable.
Mhm.
But nah, it's an incredibly expensive thing to get into. You can find ways around it if you know what you want to do, but generally speaking, it's not for people who like out of a whim, they're like, yeah, you know what? I want to be a professional photographer. Or I want to do like this with, in that same light, though, there is like a lot of, if you know specifically what you want and you're okay with like standards that are like maybe 4 years ago,
Mm.
you could probably get something decent. Pero getting back to it, I moved, I needed to start over. And just before I had moved, I had like finished those classes, and I'm like, okay, I need to actually get experience because I still don't know what I'm doing. So I would call over my girlfriend, who you've interviewed her actually hace tiempo. Ella es Nat Nat. She's an animator. She has like curly hair.
Ah,
blanquita,
Natasha. Yeah,
Natasha, esa misma.
gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, we met hace tiempo and we've kind of like been this power couple of like, she's the artist and he's the musician.
Yeah.
And, and like we even work together in shorts that she does. Like I do the music for them.
Nice.
Incluso we won an award hace poco in
Congrats.
Busca,
Super
which was
nice.
sí. Um, but I would do like photo shoots with her. Um, when we would like, hang out, I would reach out to like my friends on Instagram or like just other followers que I had known of them but didn't really know them that well.
Mm,
Uh, y poquito a poquito, like started planning some things and I started como que getting that experience, knowing, mira, esto brega, this is kind of not your thing. Uh, and nada, I within like 5-ish, maybe 4 months, I did like about 6 shoots with friends, um, which are, if you like look at them, they're my normal accounts. They are nothing like what I do right now.
mm,
Uh, pero it was really what I needed. Pasa tiempo. Um, like it helped me decide, me, I need this kind of lens. I need this filter. I need this a set of equipment.
yeah.
And then I moved and I did nothing for a while. Yo me quedé en el apartamento como que I don't even know how to start. Like, do I just reach out? Como que I didn't have any friends. I was the new guy in town. I had like maybe 3 people in el área that I knew,
Mm,
uh, or like did actually know, but we were like too busy to como que hang out. Um, but I did know enough people to get it like started.
mm,
So I got the university like checked the pandemic funds, and I was like, I need a place to shoot, but I don't know the area, so I'm still kind of new, and I need to like go out and scout and whatever. But it would be infinitely easier if I had the equipment to do it in my apartment, which is
mm,
what I currently do. Yo, I bought like this ridiculous, monstrous backdrop that and I bought like the actual uh, fabric to go on top of it, and it is like 10 by 20 feet. It is godly. I don't recommend it for anyone, especialmente. I literally don't even roll it all the way out.
mm,
Yo lo dejo como que at 8-ish feet,
yeah.
and then I just lo plancho because if not, God, it's like a second job. Hacer eso. Ay, Dios. And I don't even take it down. It's not like
Mm,
a mounted one where you put it on the wall. It's straight up like on 2 tripods that are barely holding it together. And when I'm done, I roll it on top y se queda ahí for like a
yeah.
couple weeks or whatever. But no, una vez I tried taking it all down.
Mm,
I was setting up a shoot, and right before we were supposed to start taking pictures, as I was rolling it all the way to like get it perfectly situated, it went
dropped.
all, yeah, no, God, no, never again, never
Yeah.
again. Desde ese día se queda ahí.
Gotcha. So,
Mm,
mano, por lo que notas entonces, como todo, cuando te metes nuevo a un mundo, una cultura, what have you,
mhm,
getting into photography has been a continuous learning experience, por lo visto, ¿no?
sí.
Sea through trial and error, sea vaciando el bolsillo o no vaciando el bolsillo, catching things that might be falling after working with them. So,
Uh,
it's an interesting journey, pero una que, claro, aprendiste cosas y ya estás como que diciendo, mira, no hagan esto, hagan esto. Pero si no
mm,
tuviese la experiencia, no, no tuviese ese wisdom to share. So, te quería preguntar, ya que tienes un fundamento en music,
mm.
cuando estás haciendo un photoshoot o cuando estás en el proceso de writing down ideas for a photoshoot o lo que sea, ese proceso creativo, Do you find yourself listening to music or making music y de momento, photography idea or whatever, algo así?
See, for me, it's a little bit of both. Okay. So generally, I'm always listening to something. Yeah,
Mm,
I either have a podcast, a video, or like music. And I take it like I wouldn't say como que I'm a music snob, but I have a lot of intention como que behind. I love this song. Por esta
mm,
cosa makes me feel this, and I feel like that's what I do with the pictures. Like I'm not necessarily coming from a background of like, oh, I understand all of these artistic principles that get me out this and this, and that means that symbolizes it. No, I just kind of como que I feel it and I want to como que put it on an image.
mm,
Even some of them are by me, I view them as fairly superficial. And others like have a little more to them because I felt it, en ese momento. And others are just como que in the moment, I'm like, okay, this is imagery that I really want to capture. But for me, it's a lot of the use of lighting and the projections that I put on people that I feel like those are where like you can really feel this is where music came into play.
mm.
Uh, I like generally very ¿cómo se dice? Like bloomy, kind of glowish colors. Um, y no sé, I feel like every time I upload a picture, I always como que upload a story with like a song that I attach to it because I feel like I like experiencing those pictures with music. Like
Yeah.
it feels like it fits in, right? Literally all of my playlists have just pictures that I've taken on
Mm,
the cover of them porque I love it so much. I feel like it fits. Yes, it's kind of a nice thing to have and to be like, mira, this is the songs that make me feel like esto, you know.
yeah, yeah. Te entiendo, entiendo. De
Mm-hmm.
hecho, también random me vino a la mente, pero I want to ask, were you the type of kid to, digo, no sé si en algún momento compraste mucho CD or what have you, o vinyl or whatever, pero were you the type of kid, or are you the type of person now que le gusta sentarse a leer los booklets o simplemente volver el arte del booklet behind the CDs or the what have you?
So I didn't like do a lot of collecting or any of that stuff when I was younger because I didn't know anything about LimeWire or these other platforms where you can just rip music.
Yeah.
Uh, so I would like if I got something for Christmas, if I got cash, I'd get like an iTunes card y lo compraba así, but I was
Mm,
very limiting, so I didn't explore all that much. On YouTube, como que I kind of started, but I would say like I really como que got deeper into it in high school. I do collect vinyls now, and a big part of it isn't so much that oh I'm just gonna collect them or get I want to have this big collection. No, it's like you feel like you own the album art when you have it. You feel like
yeah.
you could put it up, and when you play it, it's not as unintentional, I guess. Como que
Mm,
you put it down, you have to pay attention to it, and when you have to
mm,
do that, you have to really como que listen to it. Um, where you want to como que flip it and make sure it doesn't just keep going. But
mm,
eh, I love como que just holding them and looking at the album art, opening the if they come with the booklets, a veces no, and it's kind of sad.
yeah.
Uh, I've got quite a couple. I don't have like the biggest collection. Dude. I don't como somewhere around the ballpark of like 10 or 12, but they're either gifts or very like I really wanted to look at it while listening to the songs. Very
Yeah.
rarely I buy one that's like I've never listened to it before. I usually como que this is something I'm reliably going to spend a stupid amount of money
Mm,
on, and because I know that I like it, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not like that eager to como que put out money on something and be like, you know what, just wasn't me.
yeah, 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 entiendo. Para mí
Mm-hmm.
muchas veces eso, like, if I love the album, cuando I'm streaming it or whatever, I'll go the extra mile and buy it or whatever, si se me da la
Mm-hmm.
oportunidad. Este, but with that being said, mencionaste que one of the goals when you moved la metro era taking pictures of bands and what have you. Se te puedo
Mm.
dar la meta y maybe we don't know about it o qué es lo que...
¿Cómo?
Like, me mencionaste ahorita que una de las metas cuando estuvieses por acá, ya que maybe no puedes tocar música, pues era taking pictures of bands and what have you. Have you been able to do it?
I haven't gotten around to doing it,
Mm,
but at the same time, I'm not in such a big rush to do it. I'll gladly work with like a band,
mm,
porque I feel like it's something that I'd like to experiment in the style that I'm doing now in, because beforehand it was just trying to get good shots of them. I've done it before, but it was all kind of just before going here. So the same band that asked me all those years ago, Mira, like just take some pictures of us. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. They saw my progress
mm,
from like one year to the other, and they said, Mira, we want to like hire you to do a couple shoots para nosotros. And I did. And they were really good on a technical level, but it still wasn't the style I was kind of going for. And at the same time, uh, as much as I've like wanted to do that, I feel like in a show, I don't have the same level of freedom to como que put this light over here,
no,
do
okay.
this thing. Say, okay, it's kind of wild, you're either inside a really, really dark place or you have like very little room to work with.
Mm,
Uh, so it's very circumstantial, and I feel like for the work that I put out on my like account,
mm,
I like for it to be very like, oh, I can control it and that thing, like a controlled environment. Básicamente, I want to
mm,
have the whole tool set, and I feel like I don't quite get that with these kind of shows. Otra cosa to do these pictures like planned out. You go to a location, but I just don't feel like that's something I'm particularly like, oh, this is what I want to be doing.
mm.
I think I could, but right now it's not like the big thing I want to be doing.
Gotcha, gotcha,
Mm-hmm.
gotcha. Eh, en cuestión a music, eh, just gotta ask, Blue Leaves, is it no more? Is it on hiatus? Are you guys just waiting for the right time? Or are you doing something solo? ¿O estás pensando hacer algo con otra gente? Like, ¿se puede hablar de eso?
So like it ended a couple years ago, about like a year into the pandemic.
Mm,
Um, it's a long, crazy story. But basically, I got out, and like a big part of it, okay, I was moving away. There
mm,
were other reasons que things just kind of weren't like es que como que the whole thing started as one guy's like project,
mm,
and as other people get into it and it becomes everyone's project,
mm,
uh, it's kind of understandable when like people feel like, this thing that was once mine is kind of out of my hands.
yeah,
So I don't want to go like super into it or get it was not particularly the greatest like ending to the thing,
mm,
but I really enjoyed the experience, and I feel like it was definitely the project that I have enjoyed the most doing and have wanted to como que recreate ever since. So I've wanted to get back into music, but I haven't quite found the right rhythm, like the time that I want to get like back into it. So for now, the most I'm doing is the music for like any of my girlfriend's shorts, or animations or whatever. Um, I do sometimes still like do songwriting, because that's the thing I've always done independently from the band and from like any other musical group or project that I was in. I've always como que written songs, and incluso I've gone to your open mics.
yeah,
Uh, I've sang like a couple of them. Y, by the way, I know it's like an interview for me, but I would like to say como que I think what you do is very, very important para la escena, for like it's great. De verdad que I feel that you don't get the credit that you deserve for the amount of effort, time, and responsibility that you take on para tener esos tipos de eventos and to do the podcast that like highlights all these other artists. It's really something that like there are people, other people doing it too, but uh, I feel like you do it in a way that's really just I like it, you know.
Thank you. Thank you,
I don't
man.
know how to explain it, but I think it's like important, you know.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Mm.
You mentioned your girlfriend, la mencionamos ahorita también, pero quería
Mm.
preguntarte, when you guys give each other feedback, sure, you try to be as kind as possible, but are you guys directo, como que no es fluffy critique, just being super honest? Are you guys like that? Okay, look at it.
I try to be like nice,
We always try.
but see, I always try, but sometimes she'll tell me, no, I need you to tell me, like, give it to me straight. Like, tell me this is a piece of crap, or tell me como que, you know, something's working. And the worst thing too, ella me dijo esto hace poco, is that I will try to explain it very detailed, the best that I can, and she'll be like, the fuck are you saying? Como que, I don't understand what you're saying. Like, tell me this and arroya bichola. But with me, I'll send her something, and like, you did great, you did so good, you know, you did something. And sometimes she's just like, yeah, I didn't really like this part at all. You think I'm like, mira, Dios mío. But no, we do well. I mean, for the most part, uh we kind of just like stay in our lanes. No, not like bad entre nosotros or whatever. It's just that like she's kind of used to doing things a certain way, and I'll say I do my things the way I think like I like them. And no sé, a mí I don't particularly como que I'm like, oh, someone didn't like this thing. I'm like, oh no, you know,
Yeah.
but it's my interpretation of something. And if something on a technical level, like someone tells me like, ah, you know, if you did this, maybe it would look a little better. Or if
Yeah.
someone tells me to try a certain thing, I'll take it into account. But that is actually how I got some of the pictures that I like the most. I had a friend que she looked at one that I showed her, like, mira, this picture era muy borroso, too dark. It just, the grain was everywhere, and it wasn't the way I wanted it. And she said, no, it's fucking fantastic. Like, you can't get rid of this. This is beautiful. Like, you have to keep this. I was so glad that I did. But I've done like sometimes with certain pictures, I'll do several edits and I'll show them to the person that I took the pictures of, and they'll be like, ah, they love them and whatever, or they'll say, mira, but this one, this was my favorite. I liked it in these colors. Sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't.
No, yeah. I would
uh,
say, you know, you ask for the critique, you know, if you think it's worth looking into, but you know, you just check it out. So, you know what, pichea. It happens to everybody. A mí también, o sea, a cada rato me dan recomendaciones, I'll take them. Por ejemplo, right now, with some of my books, estoy pensando ponerle un título para la serie de tipo de books que son. And I had some ideas, pero recientemente a friend whose critique I consider very important me dio un title que, fíjate, I might just take that, you know. Sure, le voy a darle crédito y todo, pero, you know, never thought of it, I might just take it. No, dude, that being said, te quería preguntar también, este, architecture, es lo que estás estudiando, ¿verdad? Has it
yeah.
inspired your photography or music in any way, shape, or form? Ya que mucha gente
Um,
quizás no lo ve como arte, pero it is sort of an art form. So,
yeah, it's a very technical art.
yeah.
Very sleep depriving. That is the one
Cool.
thing that I see. No, I'm literally, I woke up today at 2 a.m. because my schedule is just that messed up.
Mm.
But I would say there's a lot of lessons that I get from architecture that I apply into photography, and vice versa. You know, a lot of things like framing, and the general concepts of like composition. But I would say in my mind, I kind of have them very separate. I have very specific ideas that I do for architecture. Sometimes they bleed into the photography, but I wouldn't say it's like that there's like a symbiosis entre esos dos. I feel like generally they're in separate places, and I kind of view it like that for like the other things that I've done. So I wouldn't like read a little too into Gala thing that I like do. I very much like this is one journey going that direction and another journey going that direction. Technically, like speaking, a lot of the lessons are shared, and I feel that that helps. But I wouldn't view it like, oh, the ideas I want to express here are the same that I want to express there, because they're kind of just their own beasts. We did a project hace poco that was this crazy thing that like we had it was to work on a historic building, El Polvorín de San Jerónimo, que it's in Luis Muñoz Rivera Park. And like we put this crazy glass jagged kind of casing over parts of the building. And I don't do anything like that in photography. Si acaso, I did one projection that was kind of like that, but it was more distorted. It wasn't like jagged. Let's say I'd say maybe, but not like to the degree that I think other people do. See, I would say maybe it's more like music photography, and then Aki is like architecture and all the other stuff.
Gotcha. Pues, dude, we're gonna stop aquí el primer round because of the time, this one. Pero cuando volvamos, I got a few more questions para poder cerrar el interview de mi bebé.
Okay.
Dale, así es. There we go, round 2 con Andrés Nieves. Dude, lo que te quería preguntar era, ya que you have one foot in the music side of the scene and one foot on the photography side of the scene, ¿cómo ha sido tu experiencia y cómo tú puedes ver en la escena, like, cómo se está moviendo based on your experience, what have you learned, qué quizás le hace falta para que siga moviéndose, you know, that type of thing.
So I would say que the biggest thing I learned era que it's a lot bigger than I thought. Like the local, smaller indie kind of scene is way more expensive. There are so many artists, y encima de eso, good artists que están en Puerto Rico that you know, it's like this hidden talent that, you know, you wouldn't expect because of what you're made to believe, de que we're just esta isla de lazy people, you know, that it's. So yeah, that's the bullshit that, you know, it's like on all that stuff. They're just, you know, they just party, they drink, whatever. But I come on, no, there's so much art, there's so much like just crazy stuff. I thought it was crazy in my iOS when I was like como que starting out ahí and seeing what it was like, all these musicians. But I got over here and I'm like, God damn, there's so many of them. Like you get lost in counting. Like I thought when we started con la banda that we were like one of maybe 50 to 100 people, like 100 bands in Puerto Rico, but no, there are so many other groups, and como dije antes, like really good stuff. You know, obviously there's people that are starting out, but that's part of it. And I always thought that it was like really good to como que try and link up with all these people. So for one thing, we kind of settled for like gigs. We settled on this setup, which was that the opening act, we would have like 3 acts, and the opening act would be whatever artist wanted to como que get their foot in and be exposed to some crowd already, and then they didn't have to play for a set amount of time. They could play as long as they wanted. Porque pues their compensation era que that they were going to start with a following, that they were going to get all these people that were there to see the other two acts. Porque pues it's kind of, money's kind of tight when you do multi band acts, but if someone's starting out and they need to como que see what's out there, it's a good alternative, And I kind of hate saying that, but it brings the whole thing of like, do it for exposure. Do the work. That sucks. But I think if you do things on your own terms and you know what you want to do, it can benefit you. So, for example, we would do sometimes shows where we knew we were probably not going to get paid a lot or at all sometimes, but those were usually, actually almost exclusively, shows that had a ton of different groups, because you don't expect them to be able to pay like a fair share to every single artist, which sucks. But at the very least, you're getting the audience of every single artist. So that was kind of the thought process behind it. Like they're getting exposed to the other two audiences. And now that it would be followed up with the other two acts. But getting back to it, I really, I can't express just how much, like, I just didn't know, like, that there were this many people doing these kind of events, doing these kind of projects, because you can see things on a professional scale because they have advertisement, they know what they're doing, they've had the years of experience, they know who their clientele is, or depending on what kind of field that they're in. Pero for like the younger people, or the people who are very indie or who do it as a hobby and are fucking amazing at it, we had this drummer he filled in for us once because our drummer, it couldn't make it. I don't remember what it was, but the dude was like his own separate artist, Kyoto Airbus. Me encanta su música. He's very chill. And the dude was like, yeah, I'm just the drummer, but I also play guitar, bass, whatever. And he makes singles at a time, and he doesn't do it like continuously. He's like, I'm very DIY. Cuando tengo tiempo, I produce something, and there it goes out, and then I don't do anything for months at a time. But every time he does, it's like, it's perfect. It's beautiful. It's better than like you would expect. Y no sé, en el área metro, there's so many of them. I lost track of count. I'm just trying to como que follow people. I'm like, oh, but this guy's from San Juan. All right, that's perfect. Maybe someday we get that connection. Maybe we link up, whatever. And it's crazy. I would say the other thing that I've learned from it is that there is like a group of people, an audience that is willing to go to these things, which is very important también, because the other thing is a lot of people don't even start because they don't think they're going to get anything or get anywhere. And, as much as I can say there are those events, shows, whatever, or those experiences where people get nothing sometimes, there is also that force of people that are like willing to not go to the movies on Saturday and instead go to their friend's show. That there are people that are willing to como que see their friend do stand-up at an open mic instead of going to another bar or whatever. It's and obviamente it's not just like limited to music and comedy and all that stuff. There's you see a cada rato there's a food truck that opens up, and there's a lot of people willing to go there. It's important that more people know about it, that that they involve themselves a little more into the scene, and that we get more visibility. Porque if not, it's just talent that doesn't como que meet its full its maximum potential. Porque también, I mean, we could throw out the obvious examples como Bad Bunny, toda esa gente. You know, I'm not particularly muy como que into reggaeton and trap and all that stuff, pero I recognize that there is a certain level of ability and skill. And, you know, a veces, like, I like some of the songs. No es que no me gusta nada, es que I'm just like more into the rock and roll kind of thing. But yeah, that's pretty much what I learned de eso.
Gotcha, gotcha. Algo que me encantaría también que, lo que hizo Bad Bunny en verano, que en sus conciertos le dio espacio a Reinao, a Villano, Yomito. O que si no, hizo el playlist ese con muchos artistas independientes, for the most part, que eran de aquí. Hopefully, más artistas con ese tipo de exposure can do that type of thing, como que un shout out a esos artistas que son más underground, más independientes, whatever. Granted, they or their teams need to pay attention, pero, por lo menos él es alguien que, aunque sea por publicidad o whatever, he's doing something that's nice, that's right to do, especially if you have that amount of eyes on you.
He's doing what you're doing.
Yeah, but on a much bigger scale, o sea, with a lot of money, o sea, yo siempre he dicho, if I had Bad Bunny, Fuck You Money, I would do a yearly festival con artistas independientes, como lo que hacía el Bronson Fest, pero, obviously lo haría in my own location, hopefully in West, of course, pero, if I had that type of money, I would do it, si pudiera,
We actually tried algo parecido hace tiempo. It was literally one of the first gigs we ever set up. Era like a little music festival at a private venue. Y like we had like 200 plus people show up, and we didn't expect that, pero it was hell. It was hell. Fue un mes entero of like, we planned it and we're working on it every single fucking day. Y ay Dios, I hated all the work we put into it. But I loved como salió el evento. We had a bunch of artists. We had like, it was like a 6-band thing. We had Fusion, that they still make music. They're friends of mine. I love those guys. We had Seiwa. I don't know if they're still going. They're kind of one of those bands that there's like 3 main guys, and then it always kind of revolves with other people. We had these guys that are like, I think in their 40s or 50s. I forget what they're called, but they're like a classic rock kind of thing. Tuvimos ellos, and well, obviously it was us too. Espoelérico también. Cool guy, me encanta su música. He opened up for one of our shows, and he gave me like a CD that I still listen to this day porque it's catchy. And I forget which other band. Corea Central.
Yeah. KC. De hecho, mencionaste Difusión, mencionaste Corea. They've released albums recently, so check them out. Shout out a ellos también. So, with all this being said, Manu, y aquí casi cerrando la interview, you're much younger than I am. I'm 30. Yeah, 30. Gonna be 31 next year. No, it's not big. I'm 31. My bad. Regardless, you're younger than me. Point is, what advice would you give a high schooler or somebody who's a freshman in college que quiere meterse a esto de la música independiente, el arte underground, la escena como tal, somebody who just wants to create and actually try to make it their profession or at least a hobby,
Yo diría que like a good first start is to find a space that has an open mic, and depending if that's what your art can be like portrayed in, go to one of those. Otra cosa is that nothing will happen if you don't do anything. Like if you do nothing, absolutely nothing is going to come out of that. So like even if you have some embarrassing como que mess ups, or straight up just you barely get anyone to see your stuff, consistency brings something, por lo menos, it creates some kind of growth. You're gonna quizá meet some other person. I can't tell you how many experiences I wouldn't have had if I wouldn't have just done something, even unrelated things. Quite literally, like a lot of the shoots that I've done recently are with people I met through music. They are with people that I saw one day at a bar, they caught my eye, and I just come up, I was like, I'll remember that face. No sé por qué, I will. And they end up coming back into my life, and we end up working together, collaborating or something. That's also a really great thing. But generally, I think the best thing is como que find a space and start.
I would say the same thing. O sea, thanks to open mics, así es como yo iba perdiendo mucho miedo de present myself frente de gente y actually asking people to do the podcast, to do the interviews. O sea, si hubiese esperado to actually go and meet the person, pues quizás nunca hubiese pasado la entrevista. Y thanks to technology, we have Instagram, Facebook, whatever.
Sí.
Just a single message, a quick ask doesn't help, doesn't hurt. So just go for it. Just go for it.
The barrier to entry every year is like so much lower.
Yeah.
Porque back then you needed to go to a studio to record a single. Now you can buy a MIDI for like $100 and you plug in whatever you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think como que even with photography, I started my space for starting it on my normal account, and then I slowly worked into making a separate account for the very specific style that I want to do. Yeah, I started making other accounts in other places, including this one que it's like new. I'm on it, and very few people are on it, but I love it. I would like to como que mention something about it. Que it's Vero. It's like an Instagram if they went more social and more como que photo based. Pero nada, it's cool looking app. Barely anyone's on it. If there's any people who watch this and like have one, yeah, please como que follow whatever. Porque I know absolutely no one there. I literally have like como que 5 followers, and one of them is the chief technical officer of the app. So una cosa bien small, like.
It's like the Tom from MySpace. Ese tipo like the Tom from MySpace type of guy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Pero pues, como dijiste, if you don't take that first step, you're gonna end up with nothing.
You can't expect anything if you don't try. Como que, you know, even if you like want to make music and you don't know how to promote it, throw something out, because when you do perform live, people are going to ask you, mira, like, where can I hear your stuff? A nosotros nos pasó, we did a show, and it was like the opening of that bar, and it was just packed. There were so many people, and they came up to us a cada rato diciendo, mira, do you guys have a CD? Do you have something? We had nothing. We had stickers. We sold out on stickers because we just didn't have anything else to sell. Pero sí, es que that's part of it, you know? Tener algo. Like when people ask you for a portfolio, you can't just say, no, I don't have one. I just have, you know, these pictures in my phone. Yeah. You have to have a work of something or something people can go to, you know?
Yeah. Aunque sea lo más básico, you know? For musicians, aunque sea SoundCloud or whatever.
Sí.
Photographers, aunque sea un Instagram portfolio. Or
un Wix site, lo que sea, whatever's free, you know, who cares if you have a little como que banner on top that says, oh, you know, this is from this website. You still have a body of work that people can find, and preferably that links to like their preferred social media platform.
Indeed. But dude, with all this being said, ya que estamos hablando de social media and all that stuff, para que la gente sepa, again, your Instagram, your website, esas cositas que quieras compartir.
I'm on Twitter, Facebook, although I'm probably going to change a couple of things around on that one. I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Vero. I'm also on TikTok, but I can't really get into that. Also, I try, but I feel disingenuous. Like when I make a video of my stuff, I can do it, but it's like that's not what I like doing.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm on all of those platforms uh, at Low Light Ether,
sure.
just corrido. I have a website también, but it's linked through all of those accounts, so you can just como que click on the link tree and te lleva directo a eso.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Pues, dude, con todo esto dicho, first off, thank you for saying yes. Se nos dio.
Thank you.
No power outages, no internet problems, uh,
Uh,
no work related stuff intervening. So, se pudo dar, todo chido.
mm,
Segundo, mucha salud, porque la pandemia, aunque se siente que se acabó, todavía no se ha acabado technically speaking.
mhm.
You know, still wear a mask when you need to, that good stuff. Y tercero, para adelante, mano.
Igualmente.
Sigue metiendo photography, music, architecture. Maybe you can make a building where your music plays all day, and on
Okay.
the walls you have photography of your work. No sé, make it
Mm.
¿cómo se dice? Un performance out of it.
I'm gonna make it a shrine just to my work. Yeah. Totally selfish. I'm gonna use the investors' money para hacerme un edificio just for me.
Yeah,
Exactly.
aunque sea un mini building,
Goes
aunque sea.
everywhere.
Yeah, it'll be a fun experience. It will be a fun experience.
Mm.
No, dude, again, thank you. Su
Yeah, thank
nombre es,
you.
yeah, su nombre
Uh,
es Andrés Nieves, Low Light
mm,
Ether, on all social media platforms, como Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Facebook is going to work on it,
uh,
Vero, and the website as well, que está linked through all of those.
mm.
Again, thank you, dude.
Thank you.